Yeah, you're right.
Thor: Love and Thunder is the funniest Marvel movie to ever hit the silver screen, but it was also able to find a way to fix the character of Thor within all the screaming goats, naked gods, and jealous weapons. But before we get into it, here is your official spoiler warning. We will be revealing spoilers for all of Thor: Love and Thunder, so if you don't want to spoil the movie, this isn't the video for you quite yet. Taika Waititi's work on this film was absolutely hilarious, and you can see his mark on almost every scene in the movie. To truly understand how Love and Thunder fixed Thor though, we'll first need to dive into the character arcs he's had throughout the MCU catalog before talking about the hilarity that is Thor: Love and Thunder. Throughout the MCU, Thor has gone through what I see as two major character arcs. The first arc spanned across Thor, Thor the Dark World, and Thor Ragnarok, while the second included Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and now Thor: Love and Thunder. The other two movies he appeared in, The Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, gave him very little screen time and next to no character development, so I'm mostly gonna just ignore them. In his first character arc, Thor went from being a spoiled god thinking only of himself and glory in battle, to someone who had lost everything but still striving to be the hero that his people needs. I see his first arc as one where a spoiled kid sees true loss for the first time in his life, and it doesn't stop with just one tragedy. He loses his powers, his brother, his best friends, his mother, his brother again, his home, and his girlfriend. These movies tell a story of loss and heartbreak, with just one disaster after another. Thor begins his arc as being unworthy of even wielding Mjolnir, and ends his arc understanding that Asgard is a people, not a place. Thor's second character arc begins with a hero who continues to face loss and fails to save his people, falls into a depressive, vengeful state, and redeems himself in the end as a wholesome comedic hero. Korg's intro to Love and Thunder says it best. He went from dad bod to god bod, but then went back to being a dad. This second arc tells a story of a god trying to find his place in the universe, finally succeeding in Love and Thunder. He feels immense guilt for his inability to defeat Thanos before he snapped half the universe away, starts to redeem himself in Endgame, and fully realizes his potential as a hero in the arc's third act. The main difference between Thor's first arc and his second is that the first tells the story of a tragedy, while the second tells the story of a comedy. Understandably, both arcs have major tragic events, such as the loss of Asgard and even Jane Foster's death, but the main difference lies in each arc's ending. A tragedy always ends with a disaster or heartbreak, while a comedy ends with a reunion or joy. The first arc was a tragedy because it ended with the complete destruction of Asgard in Thor Ragnarok. The second arc was a comedy though because it ended with Thor taking on the mantle of fatherhood with Gorr's daughter, Love, giving meaning to the movie's title, Thor: Love and Thunder. It's even more meaningful too when you realize that Thor's new daughter figure is actually played by Chris Hemsworth's daughter in real life, India Rose Hemsworth. While both sets of movies have both tragic and comedic events, they're truly separated by who Thor is at the end of each arc. You might be wondering though, how exactly did Love and Thunder fix Thor? And how was he broken in the first place? After the events of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, we were left with a sad, fat, defeated Thor with a Big Lebowski mentality and no idea what his place was in the world. Love and Thunder brought some life back into the character of Thor and all of the comedy we saw in Ragnarok. Although it's pretty cheesy and campy, Thor finds himself and his place in the universe as a dad, fighting alongside his new love. He experiences more heartbreak with the death of Jane Foster, but he's able to get closure and move on from their relationship, something he had never been able to do before when all he got was a note from her. This movie fixed Thor and gave us a hilarious, wholesome rom-com with tons of little details that I loved. The opening guitar riff during the Marvel Studios intro sequence was just perfect, along with all of the music in the film. The cinematography and use of color in the movie was also great, which is to be expected from Taika Waititi, known for his striking color usage and vibrant films. I love the 80s vibes present throughout the movie and all the little details that could be easy to miss on the first watch. This movie was chock full of hysterical moments, like Frigga carrying a baby Thor onto the battlefield, or Thor riding Stormbreaker off a mountaintop like a witch on a broom. It was great to see Matt Damon and Chris Hemsworth's brother Luke Hemsworth return to play the stage actors we saw in Ragnarok, alongside Melissa McCarthy as Hela. I loved seeing Thor's new tattoos of his brother Loki across his back, as well as Thor having some of Loki's hair braided into his own. Thor's giant screaming goats, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, were great to see too, And the film had some hilarious one-liners, such as when Gorr tells Thor to call Stormbreaker and Thor says, "Only if you call a dentist." One of my favorite things though was how the weapons in the movie are treated like characters. Thor talks to Mjolnir and Stormbreaker almost like he's dating them, and Stormbreaker gets jealous when Thor seems interested in the newly put together Mjolnir. It's just hilarious to see Thor interact with the weapons like this when we've hardly thought of them as characters of their own before. Some of the funniest scenes happen near the end of the film though, when we got to see little Asgardian kids given the power of Thor momentarily, using stuffed rabbits as weapons, and also a little detail of Korg making a baby with someone named Dwayne, perhaps nicknamed Dwayne the Rock something. The mid-credit scene also got me super excited because it showed us Hercules, played by Brett Goldstein, aka Roy Kent from Apple TV Plus's Ted Lasso. I can't wait to see this rageful actor punch his way into the MCU and get revenge for his dad Zeus. Anyways, Love and Thunder was hilarious, and it had Taika Waititi's influence throughout all of it. The biggest thing this movie had going for it though was that it gave one of the best romance stories we've ever seen in the MCU before, trumped only by Wanda and Vision's story, and it just so happened to take place in a rom-com. It was a bit stunning to see such a comedic movie too, especially right on the heels of what I'd call a horror movie in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It'd be hard to find two movies in the MCU that were more different than these two, and they came out right after one another. I don't have too many negative things to say about the movie other than pointing out a couple of plot holes, which could probably be answered by Thor just forgetting they were an option. The first lies in Thor being able to give other people his powers, like we saw him give the Asgardian children near the end of the film. If he could give other people his powers, why didn't he do so in the battle against Thanos? Also, if Thor was able to reach infinity with Stormbreaker and have any wish granted, why didn't he think to make a visit and wish Thanos never got the Infinity Stones? While these may seem like pretty significant plot holes, I'm not too bothered by them and still absolutely love the movie. But let me know what you think. Did Love and Thunder live up to the hype, or did it fall short from Ragnarok? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, check out the video on your screen for some more of my content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching Rocket Riley.